Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News 24/7 Daily Local News Update. I'm your host, Jasmine McTague, coming to you live from Jersey City, New Jersey. Now, the details at this time. Trayvon Martin's final night began with a convenience store run, a quick trip for candy and something to drink. It ended in a confrontation with a neighborhood watch volunteer, a shot fired, and the 17-year-old dead on the streets. It might have been expected to end there. The violent death of Black teenagers have rarely drawn even fleeting attention. But the killing of this baby-faced hoodie-wearing unarmed youth at the hands of a stranger still reverberates 10 years later in protest, in partisanship, in racial reckoning, in reactionary response, in social justice, and social media. It was the thing that broke everybody, all at the same time, said Nyla Summers Plight, co-director of Dreams Defender, an organization founded in Florida during the protests following Martin's death. We're the Trayvon Martin generation. We are the people who were moved into action because of it. Our next story of the hour. Freezing rain drizzled and disrupting travel from central Texas to the Great Lakes, with ice-glazed roads leading to hundreds of traffic accidents. Hundreds of flights were canceled Wednesday as Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport has Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas braced for the ice storm. More than half of an inch of ice could accumulate in parts of Ozark through Friday morning, while other areas of freezing rain will expect to hit south central Pennsylvania, western Maryland, and the National Weather Service said. In Arkansas, dozens of schools were closed and switched to remote learning Thursday as another round of freezing rain was expected midday. Airlines had canceled more than 2,000 Thursday flights by Wednesday night, according to the FlightsAware.com, which is a tracking site. About half of them were at the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, where temperatures were expected to top out above freezing only briefly late Thursday afternoon. Our next story. Americans are starkly divided by race on the importance of President Joe Biden's promise to nominate a Black woman to the Supreme Court, with white Americans far less likely to be highly enthusiastic about the idea than Black Americans, and especially a Black woman. That's according to the new poll of the Associated Press NARC Center for Public Affairs Research. And that shows 48 of Americans say it's not important to them personally that a black woman becomes a Supreme Court justice. Another 23% say that's somewhat important. 29% say it is very or extremely important. Only 2 black men have served on the nation's highest court, and no black women have ever been nominated. The poll shows Biden's pledge is resonating with Black Americans, 63% of whom say it's very and extremely important to them personally that a Black woman serves on the court, compared to just 21% of white Americans and 33% of Hispanics. The findings come as Biden finalizes his pick to fill the seat that is being vacated by Stephen Breyer, who announced his retirement last month. Okay, our next story. Russia and Ukraine. After the threat of sweeping sanctions didn't deter Russia's attack on Ukraine, U.S. Treasury Department officials and their counterparts in Europe now face the task of carrying through on their vow to make Russia's economy and its elites pay a price. Key questions are whether sanctions will work and how to measure their impact. With inflation already at record highs, the global pandemic that keeps businesses struggling to reopen, and an energy shortage throughout Europe, the right way to punish one of the world's major economies can be complex to tease out. Our first round of more nearly targeted sanctions and threats of much more serious ones didn't keep Russia's President Vladimir Putin from announcing the military operation launched Thursday in Ukraine and warning other countries that any attempt to interfere would lead to consequences they have never seen. As Putin spoke, big explosions were heard in Kharkiv, and other areas of Ukraine. And now a short break from the Daily English News of Millennium News 24/7. Stay tuned.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News 24/7 Daily Local News Update. And now, story of the hour. Russia and Ukraine continuing on. As Russia intensified its aggression towards neighboring Ukraine earlier this week, Republican Senator Rob Portman of Ohio blasted President Vladimir Putin's provocations as a clear violation of international law. The co-chair of the Senate Ukraine caucus urged the Biden administration to work with allies to ensure a coordinated response to this unwarranted continued incursion on sovereign territory of Ukraine. But one of the Republicans running to replace the retiring Portman had a very different message. I gotta be honest with you, I don't really care what happens to Ukraine one way or another, J.D. Vance said in a podcast interview. I'm sick of Joe Biden focusing on the border of a country I don't care about while he lets the border of his own country become a total war zone. The divergent response to Europe's most significant foreign policy crisis is generation reflects a divide and rapidly changing. The Republican Party, an old guard largely centered in Washington that has long warned of Russian aggression, is confronting an accented generation of conservatives who openly question why the U.S. should care about Russia's moves at all. Our next story. New Yorkers is collaborating with the division of the Macmillan Publishers on a book edition of the White House Select Committee plan report on January 6th siege of the U.S. Capitol a year ago by supporters of then President Donald Trump. The committee reportedly hopes to have a final report in the fall. Government reports are not copyrighted and are generally available for free through the 9/11 Commission studies of September 11th terrorist attack and Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation of the alleged Russian interference in the 2016 election, have been the basis of the four best-selling books. For the January 6th report, the New Yorker is working with Salandon Kilondon books on a paperback or ebook that would come out immediately after the report's release. New Yorker's editor David Rimnick will provide an introduction. Our next story of the hour. To say Naomi Watts is the only star in A Desperate Hour is a little misleading. She's pretty much the only person in the film, that's true. But you could make the case that she has a co-star in her iPhone. Watts spent most of her desperate hour furiously typing, listening, consulting, pleading, and otherwise glued to her smartphone as it takes on an outsized importance. Alone and lost in the woods is her only lifeline to the world. Watts plays Amy Carr as the first anniversary of her husband's death approaches. She has a young daughter and a sullen, desperate teenage son who goes on 5 miles jog into the forest and then finds out there's been a shooting at a local school. The films meet her harrowing hour of not knowing what's happening in a gut-twisting worry. Our next story, Music Revolution. A musical revolution in Jamaica has a connection with a bouncy rhythm for a portable electronic keyboard that the brainchild of the Japanese woman. The pattern that resonates in the 1985 reggae hits by Wayne Smith under Miss Lang Tang came from a Casio Tone MT40, which went on sale in 1981. The first product Hiroko Okuda worked on after joining the Tokyo-based company behind G-Shock watches. It's really like my first child, and the child turned out so well it's outright moving, said Okuda, honored as the mother of Slang Tang. Among the hardcore reggae aficionados, Slang Tang is a form of digital Jamaican music that began in mid-1980s, part of a rich repertoire of a disco-like genre called dancehall. No one contests the key role played by the artists like Smith and King Jammy, as well as the humble battery-operated $150 MT40. One of the rhythm patterns Okuda created called rock on the MT40 evolved into the slang tang rhythm. Now a short break from the daily English news of Millennium News 24. Stay tuned.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News 24/7 Daily Local News Update. Avril Lavigne is known for being a pillar of pop punk in the early 2000s, who paved her own path in the male-dominated alt-rock world. It's been almost 20 years since her debut album, Let Go, was released in the summer of 2002. But the Grammy Award nominated artist is reminding everyone that she is still the master of the genre in her new seventh album, Love Sucks. This new album transports us back to those days when teens against was palpable and alt rock was playing on your MySpace page. Lavigne is now trying to appease anyone. Many of the tracks on the album explore an edge to pop punk that's not typical to mainstream top 40 radios. Electric guitars are blasting through almost every track. The first song, Cannonball, you hear the feedback amp and electric guitar, and then she sings, like a ticking tom, I'm about to explode. Our next story, still keeping to music. Homebound during the pandemic, Joan Osborne began combining through dusty shoeboxes in her closet, and what she found was still fashionable because good music never goes out of style. The boxes contain recordings of at least 100 in studio radio performances by Osborne dating back as far as the 1990s, and she chose some of the best for radio waves, a stellar collection of 13 tunes notable for its variety. Osborne was always been a astute interpreter, and her soulful, smoky alto is a compelling instrument whether she is singing the blues, Shake Your Hips, R&B, Everybody is a Star, Dialin', Make You Feel My Love, or the great American song Dream a Little Dream, with the instrumental accompaniment ranging from a acoustic guitar to a full rock band. Osborne is creative in reimagining familiar tunes. On the Motown standard, How Sweet It Is, she extracts the sugar by recasting both the rhythm and melody, and the result is something more sensual. A stripped down version of her unlikely hit, One of Us, more directly conveys the wonder of grace in the commonplace, while Gary White's 1970s hit, My Love is Alive, becomes improbably funky. Our next story. Joe Wright is at his best when he's making movies about love. They may not always have been happy endings. In fact, they usually don't. But truly romantic movies seem to be a rarer and rarer thing in contemporary cinema, and like Max Orpheus and Demi before him, Wright is almost peerless in his ability to make an audience swoon and suffer in maximalist splendor. Cyrano is one of his finer efforts among a flock of high achievers, including Atonement and Pride and Prejudice. In the lush adaptation of Edmond Rostand's classic play, Cyrano de Bergerac feels like it was made by people who are in love, which could be at least partially attributed to the fact that the creatives behind the camera were with the ones in front. Wright is married to Holly Bennett, who plays Roxanne, and the screenwriter Erica Schmidt is married to Peter Dinklage, who plays Cyrano. Next story. It was said with such self-confidence, even a hint of swagger, that the words could easily have come from the mouth of Cristiano Ronaldo. I told you how calm and cool I am, said Anthony Inglaga, who appeared to be the latest young star to come out of Manchester United. I just wanted to lead like I am the best player on the pitch. Make a defender scared. Elanga had just made the latest telling intervention in his breakthrough season in United. He coolly taken equalizer late in a one-on-one draw at the Atlético Madrid in the last 16 of the Champions League on Wednesday, and moments later he'd be praised by his coach as a role model. I wish a few other players would take him as an example, United manager Rolf Rangnick said. Talk about a raise to prominence. Alanga is a 19-year-old Swede who speaks with a strong Mantuan accent and plays like someone's living out of a fantasy. Now a short break from our daily English news of Millennium News 24/7. Stay tuned.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News 24/7 Daily Local News Update. Now, the story of the hour. AJ Griffin incurred in the ear of coach Mike Krasowski when he passed on an open three-pointer last night in number 7 Blue Devils tight game at Virginia. What are you doing? Just shout. Just shoot. Like you should shoot all the time. Whenever you get it and your next shot is the first shot. Krasinski said he told Griffin, a freshman and one of the top long-distance shooters in the country. Griffin, who had missed 7 of the 8 shots, got the message. He hit back-to-back three-pointers and then scored on a drive, helping Duke hold on for a 65-61 victory Wednesday night. We have a confidence that is next shot going to go in, he said of Griffin, who has made 50 of 104 three-point tries this season. 3 of his next shots went in the last 4 minutes, and God bless. Our next story. Bill Murray pumped his last fist in the air, celebrating win Michigan needed after Juwan Howard swiped. The former St. Joseph's coach filled in for the suspended Howard for the first of 5 games Wednesday night and guided the Wolverines to a 71-62 win over Rutgers. After shaking hands with the visiting coaches and players along the sidelines without incident, Murray did a post-game TV interview near the Blue Block M at the center court. Michigan's athletic director Ward Manuel was standing in the corner of the court closest to the team locker room, waiting to hug the 64-year-old coaching veteran temporarily in charge of the basketball program without its coach for the rest of the regular season. Continuing on the sports, Providence coach Ed Cooley has been hearing a lot about how lucky his team has been to keep winning close games. He hopes to start hearing about how much the talent his 11th-ranked Friars have as well. Jared Biden scored 27 points, including a key three-pointer to help Providence hold off Xavier 99-92 in a triple overtime Wednesday night. AJ Reeves added 16 points, and Al Durham had 13 to help the first-place Friars 23-3, 13-2 Big East wins for their second consecutive overtime game. They are 3-0 in the OT this season, all in the past 4 games, and is the first time in the school's history Providence has notched 13 Big East wins. We are really fortunate, and whatever reason we played well in close games, Cooley said. That luck better come from somewhere, and it's called talent. In our last story, continuing with games, Katerina Marsario and Mallory Pooh each scored 2 goals, and the U.S. women's national team beat Iceland 5-0 on Wednesday night to win the She Believes Cup. The Americans won the annual 14 tournament, now in its 7th year for the 3rd straight year. The United States have 17 straight shout-outs on American oil dating to March 2020. The national team also is unbeaten in 65 straight games at home. Christy Mills is also scored in the victory that came as a team celebrated an agreement with U.S. Soccer to settle a dispute over equitable pay with the men's national team. 2 sides announced the agreement early Tuesday. Under terms, U.S. Soccer will pay the $24 million and commit to equitable pay and bonuses in the future. The women filed a lawsuit alleging gender discrimination in 2019. And this was the daily local news update of Millennium News 24/7. Log in to get the latest news. All of our social networking sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, is Millennium News 24. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers now on both networking broadcasting Androids and iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, also all smart TV platforms. Please enjoy our entertainment and latest news and views. Our Millennium TV app, Millennium TV USA, Android, and Millennium News Google, millenniumnews24.com. Stay with Millennium News 24/7, and thank you for watching.